I absolutely love short lines. The power is just always so much better than the main lines. They've always got EMDs, amazing horns, and generally just really interesting and noteworthy operations. Unfortunately for me, there's only one short line that runs in my local area, the Chicago South Shore Freight, which is the freight extension of the very famous Chicago South Shore commuter service that runs from Michigan City, Indiana, down to Kingsbury, where it connects with the Kingsbury Ordnance Plant. There are other lines of South Shore Freight, but this is the only one that I can see. It's also the only one that doesn't share its trackage with the electric multiple units. There's only one assignment on this line, the Kingsbury Local, which runs down from Michigan City to Kingsbury every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. My first time ever seeing the Kingsbury Local up close was when I was driving to my dad's house on February 22nd, 2023. Yeah, we're going real far back for this one, where we got caught off guard by the local going by a crossing in the literal middle of nowhere. The power on this day was two long hood forward South Shore Jeeps that were 2004 and 2000, with 2000 not only being the class leader, but also having a veteran sticker. There were other South Shores that I filmed prior to getting my camcorder, but those were all uploaded in the big rail fanning videos back from when I used to do only one a month. So we're skipping all the way ahead to April 11th, 2025. On this day, we were just driving through Stillwell when in the distance we noticed the Kingsbury Local approaching. We stopped at the first crossing we could and didn't even have time to get out of the car because the train was already almost there. The power on this day was CSS 2008 and 2003, both of which being veteran sticker units. As it normally does, the train rolled to a stop and reversed at this crossing. In previous videos I've explained I have literally no idea why they do this. It's not for switching, they've already cleared all the switches by this point. But at least we get to see the Jeeps again. After they passed, we went over the road again, but on our way back a little bit later, we ended up accidentally catching them crossing the road again, continuing on their way north to Michigan City. Then, on April 23rd, 2025, we were driving through the middle of nowhere in Stillwell once again, but we looked across a random field to spot the Kingsbury Local sitting there, switching at the Dollar General nearby. The engines leading on this day were 2010 and 2003. As you can clearly see, 2010 here is not wearing the standard South Shore orange, and it's wearing the Louisville and Indiana scheme, which was inspired by the Pennsy pinstripe. See, Aconsta Rail Holdings, who owns the South Shore and the Louisville and Indiana, simply transferred 2010 here because South Shore was short on engines, and L&I had more than they needed. It was originally numbered 2005 on L&I, but was eventually renumbered 2010 to fit into the South Shore's classification system. Nice to see this unit in this unique Pennsy tribute scheme. You also might recognize this shot because it's the first one in my intro, so it's going to look very familiar. On May 1st, I was unexpectedly jump scared by a South Shore at that crossing that you'd first seen in the first clip. Power for this train was 2005 and 2000, both being veterans units. See, the reason why I hadn't been anticipating this was because this was Thursday. As I stated at the beginning, the Kingsbury local only runs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm not exactly sure 100% why this train was running on a Thursday, but if I had to guess, it has to do with the flat cars. See, South Shore runs through LaPorte, and there's a factory there called Howmet Aerospace, and they often get large deliveries in by rail. And judging by the flat cars, I bet you this was a special move for them that was just returning back. A little bit later, on May 9th, 2025, it was a Friday, and I knew the South Shore would be running. As you might have seen in previous videos, I scoped out a spot in Stillwell where I could catch the train going across a field, which I think looks really cool. Now that the greenery had come up since it was getting into spring, I decided that it would be worth going back to catch another South Shore at that spot, which I did. Power on this day was 2000 and 2002 leading elephant style. And only a few days after that, can you tell I'm on a South Shore kick at this point? I went back down on May 14th, 2025 to catch another South Shore. We stopped at that crossing in Stillwell, and, well, there it was. We waited for a while for it to leave, and by a while, I mean over an hour. It sat down there in the switching sidings for forever. And not knowing when it was going to leave and no way to access it prior, we had no option but to sit and wait. And while it did, we ended up catching a CN local across the field with a pair of nice ex-Oakway SD60s. And after even more stupid waiting, seriously, this took forever, the South Shore finally roared into life. The power on this day was 2005 leading Longhood forward, and behind it was a rather interesting unit, FURX 4226, one of a handful of FURX Jeeps leased to South Shore. All of them have been returned except for this one. Considering how vital it is to South Shore's operations, I wouldn't be shocked if they bought it and patched it, so I really wanted to see the unit in its pure FURX condition at least once, up close. This was my first time seeing it up close, and I will admit I really wish it was leading on this day. It probably would have made the super long wait actually worth it, but I was determined to see it, leading or not, so that's why I stuck this out for so long. I really do like this shot. The golden lighting is a nice touch, and the composition and panning is really good. This is one of my favorite South Shore catches, if you ignore the audio. Yeah, you might have noticed the weird microphone feedbacky audio in the last couple of clips. That's because at this time, the mic, the external mic that came with my camcorder was dying, and I hadn't realized it yet. So, you're just going to have to deal with it. Sorry. And we finish the video with another unexpected catch and the most recent one. On this day, we were driving into LaPorte, and across a random field, we spotted the South Shore coming. We pulled off at the first crossing we could, which is this one, this being the first time I've ever filmed the South Shore going by a crossing with gates, to see the train with South Shore 2010 in the lead. Nice to see that unit again and facing the correct direction this time. I also got a horn salute from the engineer, being my first South Shore horn salute, so very interesting catch. I wish I had my camcorder for it. And that's all the South Shore footage I have that you guys haven't seen yet. I hope you enjoyed this look at a very obscure short line. I fully expect this video to severely underperform view-wise, so if you watched all the way to the end, I appreciate it. But with that, catch those units while you can, especially the Jeeps with very, very awesome horns, and I will see you in the next video.